If you want to experience moments of joy, excitement, and satisfaction, visit the Honda Summer Spectacular event, where well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% APR on the 2018 Honda Accord, part of KBB.com's 2018 Best Overall Brand. You've just entered car buying bliss.
See dealer for financing details based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for information.
Blog Talk Radio.
Allow me to introduce myself. Who knows what dastardly crime he might perpetrate next?
He's a very clever arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of the cytomania.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good evening. It's another Monday night. I think it's the 24th of July. I'm here at 217. I got my man Mark Lee in the studio. Mark, what's going on with you? It's the voice of the people, man.
Well, I'm just sitting here trying to stay as cool as possible because, Durham has been in the middle of a serious heat wave. So, we were feeling like today we were actually thinking it was a break because we were only in the low 90s, and I don't think it felt like 100-something. It was probably feeling like mid-90s, but last week there were some days where they were saying it felt like 100, 105, 110, just all kinds of other crazy temperatures. So trying to stay cool. I had a little bit of shade earlier today, just trying to find ways to stay cool in the middle of this heat wave that's going on throughout a large portion of the country. Because, like I said before, we've got listeners that call from other parts of the country, like Nevada, and listen from those places as well as call in from those places sometimes. But got them listening from Nevada, Arizona, California, New York, and other places. And whenever I'm talking to them here or just on the internet, like on Facebook, they're always complaining about the heat where they are as well. So it's just a lot of hotness going on in the summer.
Oh, it's been hot, man. Last week was rough up here in Jersey. We had those triple-digit numbers, and today we lucked out. Storm last night, so we were at 79. So, you take those days as they come. But I do know one thing. In October, the juice will be loose, so maybe we could get some refreshment or something like that, huh?
That's right. The juice said he's going to be loose. The juice is going to be loose. He was granted that parole, so they're saying that OJ is going to be out into the public. I understand he might be moving back toward Florida way because, he did not feel like staying where he was confined at. So the rumor is that he might be heading back to California, to Florida and things of that nature. But, one of the other things that was really interesting on today was I had a meeting today with a young lady that moved to Durham, North Carolina from Denver, Colorado. She's actually a marketing person for one of our local restaurants here. And we got to talking, and I said, so, we were thinking about doing some events together and trying to figure out ways to make that business model work together with the restaurant that she handles the special events for. But in the course of the conversation, she said part of the reason she moved, because, we've talked about rents and how gentrification is going on throughout the country.
Right.
But she said as soon as they legalized marijuana in Denver, apparently the apartments went sky high. Because what she told me is that the average apartment rent in Denver is $2,000.
Oh, man, $2,000 for an apartment?
$2,000 for I believe she told me a one-bedroom apartment.
Are they subsidizing this with marijuana sales? Or is that just a going rate because the marijuana is there now?
I think it's a going rate because there was what she told me that there was such an influx of people that I guess that, the apartment owners were like, hey, look, we can charge this much and they're going to pay this much. So that became like the going model that they decided they were going to charge crazy rents and everything. So she told me that they were going for $2,000 and everything.
So that means home prices also went up too then.
Well, I'm sure. We didn't get into that conversation, but I'm sure that if apartments are going for like $2,000, home prices got to be something stupid too. In other words, she told me, I think that they did because they did a calculation for Durham, because we've been having some growth here, and I think our average rent is a little bit over $1,000, but for apartments. But they were saying that for that kind of rent here, you need to make like around, say, $45 to $50 a year. So if it's $2,000, I'm thinking that means you got to be making about $100,000.
Yeah, that's well, if you're selling the weed, you might just be making that money. But
you
for
might
those
be there.
Now, for those who are not dealing with that right there, they end up suffering because the prices went up because of a certain attraction that's now there.
Right.
But if you're just trying to, pay your bills and do your part, well, dang, to get a note from the rental office like, okay, well, you know what, y'all, it's been real, but we're about to jump these prices, so it's up to you whether you want to sign a new lease with the new price or whether you want to, continue on somewhere else. And that's kind of tough on the individuals who have been there, who've settled there, who've decided to make home, call it home. So now what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, that's a rough thing, and how do you handle that? But, it's not just impacting individuals. Like I said, this young lady, I'm thinking she's probably in her 20s, that moved from Denver all the way across the country to North Carolina to take this job, and also to, actually, I don't even think she had a job when she moved. That price just drove her away from Denver. But it's also impacting our churches because, today's USA Today was talking about churches are now struggling with the gentrification dilemma. As neighborhoods change in cities across the U.S., congregations are having to reexamine their call because, these folks are finding themselves where they might have been in traditionally African-American communities or traditional other kind of communities, and they're right next to these high-rises that are being built around here. So they're trying to find ways to reach out to these this new demographic that's coming in their backyard. As a matter of fact, the article was Dateline Nashville, and it says a nearly 90-year-old Nashville church building now stands across the street from a new luxury apartment complex, illustrating how redevelopment has altered the neighborhood. It also shows that places of worship like First Baptist Church, East Nashville, are not immune to the changes their communities are undergoing. The church's predominantly black congregation once mirrored the neighborhood's demographics, but today the hip and eclectic East Nashville, with its rise in property values and trendy restaurants, draws a number of white millennials, said the Reverend Morris Tipton Jr., the church's pastor. And, we're even seeing that in Durham because just down the road from the Hayti Heritage Center, which is the predominant and historic African-American cultural center here in Durham, there's these new developments that are coming up. A lot of white millennials are moving into these neighborhoods. So we actually have a church, Christ Central, that meets out of there, and it's a predominantly white church, and they meet every Sunday, having regular church congregation out of their Presbyterian denomination. But they are definitely not reflective necessarily of the neighborhood around them because the congregation is probably about 85 to 90% white, and that is not the Hayti neighborhood that they are in terms of the actual makeup of the community. But all these people are moving in, and they're reaching out, and they're starting these churches. So it's even impacting our church community because in the article it says, Tipton says, if I think about it outside of the confines of God, I am, because he was asking about the church's future. Most of the black churches in this community are leaving. They are selling their churches to land developers who are turning them into restaurants and bars and condos and apartments and any number of things. Similar stories are playing out across the U.S. Buildings that once held worship services have been repurposed or bulldozed and redeveloped into bars, restaurants, and other secular spaces. And among the places that they mentioned are Springfield, Missouri, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles. So, it's all over the country that this is happening, that even the churches are having to cope with what's going on with gentrification.
Man, you know what? That's stressful, and that's enough to make you want to drink.
Enough to make you want to drink, exactly. And we got somebody that can handle that. Cause
we got some people that can handle that, right?
Yeah,
First up, I think we got, who is it, Gwen Hurt, right? Shoe Crazy Wine. And she's here with us tonight on The Voice of the People. So let's, the phone number, 646-668-8393. Call and join in on the conversation if you like. We got Miss Gwen Hurt in the studio. Gwen, tell us something good.
Hey, guys. I was just listening to some of your comments. One on Colorado. I actually got invited to a wine and weed symposium. Not sure how that goes, but I thought, my goodness, only in Colorado. So I find that very interesting. I declined because I'm focused just on wine. But it's an interesting concept. And then as
Yes.
I listened to you guys talk about the churches and the gentrification, I was just texting my daughter, Brittany. Hey, Brittany, are you on? I thought she was on. Okay. I was just texting her. Maybe we need to get a church wine bar going. and some of these gentrified neighborhoods and bring that money in a different route to the church. But that said, it's an amazing business that I'm in. It's got its ups and downs, but we're happy to be in it.
So, Gwen, I know that Donald has told me a little bit about the company and things of that nature, so I've done a little bit of research on it. But if you would just tell our listeners a little bit about how you got into this, because I believe you started off first with it being almost like a hobby, and then you had some life events that happened, and that kind of got you to make it more of a business. So if you give us a little bit of the stories and share that with our listeners, I'd greatly appreciate that.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And I appreciate Donald and James Portfolio Group. They're a distributor in North Carolina, so we're expanding. But, yeah, it did start out as a hobby. I got a winemaking kit for Christmas one year and made some Chianti in my kitchen, and over 100 bottles of homemade Chianti in the kitchen. And after it was bottled, I kind of stood back and said to my daughter, what can I name my wine? I'm going to name it something. And she said, name it something you love, Mom. And so Brittany, that's my daughter, I said, I'm crazy about shoes. So I kind of got that name, Shoe Crazy Wine, in 2006 when I made my Chianti in the kitchen. And gave it out as gifts to family and friends. Didn't get a lot of positive feedback from that kitchen wine, though. But what it did was it incented me to one day want to own a vineyard and to really understand the intricacies of making wine and bottling wine, etc. But then I, went on back to my career in IT. And in 2013, we had some interesting things happen. I was downsized from a company I'd been with for 15 years. And then 2 days later, my daughter and I were in a very bad car accident in Raleigh, North Carolina, actually. And so I'm, laying in the hospital room, basically saying, Lord, what's going on? I've just lost my job, and now I'm, laying here in the bed, and having survived this car accident. So when we were moved back to Virginia, it was depressing. I was depressed. My daughter was depressed. She was injured in the car accident. We were both walking with canes and back braces and neck braces, and I cried a bit. And then I said, we have to do something. I can't stay in this room crying. And so that's when Brittany said, those housewives are always starting businesses, the housewives of this city, that city. And I said, you're absolutely right. We're going into the wine business. And then I actually pulled out an email that I saved for myself in my work computer, and it said Shoe Crazy Wine Direct to Consumer. And I had that in my computer since 2007, saved in draft. And so it all kind of came together to get into the business.
Wow. And how many, and once you got involved?
I'm sorry?
And how many other people, when you got involved, how many other folks were involved in the shoe business that were African Americans, in the wine business? How many other folks were involved in that business?
To my knowledge, it was about 20, 22, somewhere in there. I don't think that number has grown very much. It's definitely a white male-dominated industry, and we're starting to make our mark there. We have, some folks that actually own vineyards. I'm a private label. I partner with vineyards in France and in California to create my wines. My daughter, Brittany, I hope she's on. Brittany, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, Brittany.
I'd like to introduce my daughter, Brittany Hurt.
Hello, Brittany.
She said yeah.
Hi, how are you? I was just listening to you.
Oh, okay. No, I want them to know that, what you do. It's the both of us. I do the sales and, and kind of lead one part of the company, and she does all of the marketing and promotions and stuff. So without her, there would be no Shoe Crazy. So I like to, let everybody know it's a mother-daughter team. So, Brittany, you can tell them a little bit about what you do.
Please do.
Well, mainly for what I do with Shoe Crazy Wine is I do all of the social media marketing. all of the promotional marketing as well.